beginning to end, there's going to be a plethora of not just ideas, but proven strategies that are going to help you grow your YouTube channel and get some more business. So here's my quick story. In April of 2021, I had somebody reach out to us to have something to do with the Infusionsoft. Don't remember what it was. Somebody asked a question and I posted an answer. And then she said, oh, can you help me with that? We helped her absolutely free of charge. And she was so grateful. And I remember from the last session, Adrian was talking about the law of reciprocity. This is basically how it works. You give of yourself freely, and then other people will give back. And what happened was she shared with me a video series done by a guy by the name of Nate Woodbury that she paid $2,000 for. And I was totally grateful. To me, if you're going to pay $2,000 for information, then it's probably a good idea if somebody hands that over to you to actually watch it. And for me, I know that that's a fair amount of money. So there must be something in this. So my wife and I, Nancy, sat down and we watched a good portion of Nate Woodbury's presentation. He's a YouTube producer. And I got pretty excited about it because there was things that he said that I had never heard of. In other words, how do you actually hack the YouTube algorithm? And what are the steps to do that? This video couldn't be found anywhere. You couldn't find the information on YouTube, although you can find Nate Woodbury on YouTube and a lot of his people that he produces channels for. Some of them are in the millions of subscribers. It's unbelievable. So we watched this thing and then immediately we said, hey, what have we got to lose? And I just like challenges. So what we did was we started posting back kind of in the middle to the end of April of 2021. The good news was that we had the equipment. I sourced an editor that I trained. I actually went through 2 editors to find one that I liked, and I trained him how I wanted the videos edited. I actually know how to edit them myself. I'm spending all my time creating videos. I don't have time to do that. So I got an editor in Brazil to help me. I had the funds to finance it. I had the niche market, which is intermediate to advanced, mostly advanced to professional jazz musicians. Because, you know, I was a professional jazz musician for like 23 years. I performed in 17 different countries and made 8 albums under the record label Arcadia in the United States. And I had a great career of it. And I decided to start a brand new YouTube channel called Jazz Mental. I'm going to show you some evidence of that and all the numbers associated with that so you can get excited about that. The disadvantage to all of that, and yes, I totally get that there is going to be some investment, that I didn't really understand or know the YouTube algorithm completely. I had some information about that, but I didn't really know exactly what I was getting into. I had no idea about YouTube creator rules. There's a whole bunch of rules that you have to follow. There is a ton of bad advice on YouTube. In fact, there's a couple of specific instances where we took advice from people, paid advice from people with channels on YouTube, and it backfired. So when you follow the wrong advice, you actually get dinged for that. The YouTube algorithm is very specific. It has rules that must be followed. And if you break those rules in any way, it can actually hurt your channel for a significant period of time. The other thing is most of us really have no idea what the commitment is to produce quality content, because that's the key to a successful YouTube channel, is to put out quality content instead of fluff. And the final piece of that puzzle was we didn't really understand the YouTube SEO algorithm. How can your videos actually get found? And where do they end up on search results? And what are the click-through rates associated with that? Okay, so that's what I did. I've been working at it pretty much weekly ever since April. And now what I'm going to do is just give you something to get excited about, and then we're going to get into the details. While I'm doing this, I totally see that we have a good crowd. If you have any questions as I'm going through this, I'm trying as much as I can to pay attention to those questions. So please keep them coming. Right now, I'm just going to quickly share my screen with you just so that you can see a few things. Get that up there. And then let me open the chat so I can keep an eye on that. So the first thing I want to show you is something that I think we all face, and that is kind of the death of SEO on our websites. So I'm going to show you some Google Analytics from a website that I've had for 20 years. I've been in the marketing game for a long time, folks. I got started online pretty much back when the internet started. I've had a website that was built on HTML since literally day one. I've been around since since Google was invented. I've understood the algorithm. At one time, the website statistics that I'm going to show you, which is paultobey.com, was ranking number 1 to 3 in the entire world for piano music. If you Googled piano music back in 2003, 2004, my website would have been either 1, 2, or 3 in the entire world. And I've been working SEO ever since, and I've done it, and I get paid quite a bit of money from clients to SEO their websites on an ongoing basis. I have one client right now that pays me $3,000 a month just to SEO one keyword phrase per month. And it's a highly competitive business, and it doesn't always work. And we all know how difficult it is to do SEO and how it's getting worse. So I'm going to show you that website right now. It's called paultobey.com. And I'm showing you the results from December 1st to December 31st, 2021. So that's the last month of last year. And I think we can all relate to what we're looking at if you've never been in Google Analytics before. But basically what we've got is 1,398 users. There were 1,516 sessions, and the average session duration was 44 seconds. Obviously, it has gotten worse over the years. And I keep at it. paultobey.com, not so much as some other sites, not nearly what it used to be. So I'm going to show you some results from since April on a brand new YouTube channel. So just a quick overview of Chanalytics from YouTube. So this is the last 28 days. Let me go to the same December 2021 and let me show you. So this, and again, we only started in April, 10,600 views, 573 hours of watch time. So I need to put that into perspective. So if you go back to the other one and an average session duration of 44, if we rounded that up to a minute, that means you're talking about 1,000 or 1.3 thousand minutes, which is not very much at all, versus 573 hours. So YouTube is not really about just the value of the number of visitors. It's how much time are people spending consuming your content. And I think if they're consuming 573 hours of content in 1 month, that means that you're A, doing a good job, and B, they are getting to know you personally. They are getting to know and learn and understand about you and your business and everything that you do. So just a quick comment, if you might, on the chat area on what you think about the statistics so far. From a brand new YouTube channel from 0 to, and it's now at, let's see, your channel is how many subscribers? 1.16 thousand subscribers since basically April. And the watch time, obviously 570. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Zane. I'm feeling better about this, Paul. Good. You should feel better because there's an algo that I'm going to exactly share with you on how I did this. One thing you should know is that we did a very big push in December for Christmas music. So if you actually look at my channel, you're going to find that all of December, a very popular search term is how to play Christmas sheet music in a jazz style. So if you go back to December, this is January, December. Let's go here. So Old Lang Syne to end off the year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Charlie Brown Christmas special. Skating from Charlie Brown. all of these videos that we did this big push on in December. And again, that will all resurface next December as well. So as people start to search for content and your content shows up in search, it just kind of multiplies and goes from there. So that's why I kind of focused on December, because when you do big seasonal content pushes, it can really be very helpful for people and obviously help to grow your channel. All right, let's get into some specifics on how I did this. And as I'm going through this, I'll try to share with you some real world results on some of the things that are happening. So it's basically a 5-part strategy. So we're going to call this the YouTube Algo Hack. Okay. Part 1. The first thing to understand about YouTube is it's not really like a general Google search session. What you want to do is you want to post something called leaf topics. I got that term from Nate Woodbury. I think it's an interesting term. It's probably not the only way to describe it, but let's go with it for now. Essentially, what that means is this. Stop opening up new stuff without my say so. Thank you so much. Here we go. So if this is the trunk of the tree, that represents your overall sort of category. So that the trunk of the tree would be jazz, because of course I have to relate it to something. So let's relate it to my own jazz channel. If you start posting jazz topics, in other words, what is jazz, how to play jazz, when did jazz start, what is the history of jazz, all of those are trunk topics and not nearly specific enough to work for the YouTube algorithm. I'm sure many of you have heard of the term long tail keywords. The history of jazz is not a long tail keyword as far as YouTube is concerned. Then you get your branches, and those branches are still not specific enough, but that would be something like advanced jazz piano. That's a trunk topic. So you take jazz and you divide it into categories: advanced jazz piano, beginner jazz trombone. By the way, what is a great trombone line? Just a little comic relief. A great trombone line is, you want fries with that? Anyway, we've got the trunk of the tree, big category. We've got smaller categories, which is the branches of the tree. And now we have the leaves of the tree. And those leaves are essentially the topics that you want, and they mostly surround questions. How do I play a 1-6-2-5 progression on the piano? How do I sit properly at the piano so I don't hurt my back? If you were to move away from the jazz category, I'm pretty sure most of you have done this. How do I fix X software from flashing on my screen? How do I reboot Windows and not wait 25 minutes for the computer to start? How do I do this? How do I do that? All of us, can we at least agree on that? And you can respond in the chat area. Can we agree that that's how we all use YouTube? We're looking for very specific answers to our questions. Nobody is Googling your business. Nobody is YouTubing your business. Nobody is going there looking for, nobody will type in jazz in YouTube. And if they do, they're going to find very quickly that that's not going to help them very much. But the thing you want to do is you want to answer their questions, and you want to be very specific about answering those questions. And the good news, and there's really, really good news about this, and if you think about it, here's the really good news. The good news is there are limitless topics on Leaps. Limitless. You can never, ever, ever run out of topics. So people are like, well, how do I make content for my YouTube videos? And the answer is leave topics. Don't make a topic about marketing. That's never going to work. Make a topic about how do I market my website on YouTube to get a specific result, which is XYZ. That's how people use YouTube. They don't use it as a general search engine. They use it to answer their questions, and they want to see very visual, specific, step-by-step answers on your questions. Question from Cynthia. She says, are the words how to important in the SEO of video? So basically, how to is just one question. You can use the 5W1H formula. Basically, there are 6 marketing brothers who serve me well and true. Their names are who and what and where, why and how and who. All of those questions are important questions that people ask on YouTube. Who is the leading expert on jazz piano? What are the 3 steps to setting up my mobile phone to cast onto my television? This is how people use YouTube. Cynthia, does that answer your question? All you have to do is type yes. Otherwise, you can elaborate it. Okay, good. She's got it. Excellent. Okay, so everybody, that's leave topics. Now, we have software, and here's the so I'm going to put really good news in front of that, is there is software that can help you do this. It's called VidIQ. Now, there are others like Tubebuddy. We used it. We tried it. We didn't really like it. Didn't really work that well. We also used SEMrush. We paid a lot of money for SEMrush because that was Nate Woodbury's strategy. And frankly, that one didn't work great either. It worked a little bit, but not the greatest. And then what we did was we turned to VidIQ because we started watching some videos on YouTube about how to rank, and we came up with this, which is VidIQ. So essentially, let's just take a look at some of the leaf topics that I was talking about. And by the way, you can use the words how to and why and all of that in front of these. But basically, I put in 1625 piano voicings, and you can see that keyword phrase is here. And it has a search volume of 3,197 people per month, and it says very low competition. Now, there are 4 types of competition. There are low, very low, low, medium, high, very high. Sorry, there's more than 5. And then there's none. So this one doesn't have none, but there would be some keyword phrases that are searched on this thing that have 0 competition. So it would have a little infinity sign like this one over here, but it would be in the competition area. But this one doesn't have that. But let's say I put in piano voicings in, let's say, the key of F. Something like that. Still low competition. So, but you will find some that have no competition. But typically, if you go for low or very low, it means that other people in YouTube are not utilizing that keyword phrase to the best of their ability. In fact, they're not really doing proper SEO strategy for their YouTube video. So that's why you want to go for low competition. It's just like doing SEO. You want to find searches that have a lot of searches. I like a minimum of like 3,000, and it's better if it has 5 or 6, but hey, 3,000 is a good place to start. And then either low to very low competition or no competition at all. Does that make sense to everyone? I think this is the place to start. If you have a topic in your head, either a trunk topic or a branch topic, this can help you find leaf topics, because that to me is a very specific leaf topic that I would have at least an opportunity to make 3 or 4 videos about that one topic. If you've ever learned how to play the piano before, it is there is a lot of information that I could share about that particular progression, 1625. It's basically in the key of F. It's F, D minor, G minor, and C, but then there's a whole bunch of extensions and alterations to that and several different ways to approach that on the piano. I mean, basically, I did a series on that, and I'll show you in just a moment. The good news about that is if you actually look at a video that I posted on January the 27th, which was not that long ago, it was the last video I did because I just moved and I'm in a new house. I just got my computer set up yesterday. And so I've neglected posting videos since the 27th, but typically I post them all the time. If you actually look at the keyword phrase for that, it's 1625 piano voicings. And we can take a look at that for a second. Go down here and you can see that with all the tags, it's ranking number 3 for jazz piano 1625. It's ranking number 1 for jazz mental, of course. It's ranking number 1 for 1625 piano voicings. So to verify that, and this is all VidIQ telling me this, to verify that, all we need to do is go to YouTube, put that in the search engine, and you can see that we are indeed number 1. And the other thing is our video pretty much stands out against a bunch of piano keys. So it's all personal. People are, and so it's 77 views in 6 days. Okay, not super great, but couple that with the fact that my channel has older videos that are doing much better and it picks up steam over time. And I've got well over 200 videos. So it all adds up. So I think you really want to pick leaf topics. You want to research those leaf topics. You want to use VidIQ to do that. And that's step 1 of the strategy. Are there any questions about that particular strategy, which is number 1? I didn't mean to do that. Let's go in here and just erase parts of this. Go there, that. How much is VidIQ? 1 second. Nancy, how much is VidIQ? She doesn't remember. I don't think it's that expensive. It's like maybe $100 a year, something like that. Is being specific, too specific a thing? Only if it doesn't get searched. So if you're using VidIQ and it shows you that people are asking that, then it's good. If it shows you that nobody's asking that, then yes, too specific is a thing. Absolutely, Patricia, they do have a free trial. Is it absolutely necessary to use a tool like VidIQ, or could you use your best guess? I can tell you it's not a good idea to do your best guess because you don't really know what people are doing. So take the free trial at least and write down as many keyword phrases as you can and make your first 100 videos about those keyword phrases. So please don't use your best guess, Ruben, because honestly, you have no idea what people type in. Plus, they have thought of things that you haven't, that you could absolutely make videos about. So that's really the whole point, is you want to just research topics, but you also want to take the advice from people who are actually doing the search. Zane says, so if the competition shows high, should I try to go for medium? I think medium is okay if there's nothing left. Start with very low or none, go up to maximum low, and then if there's nothing for that, then go to medium, because you really don't have a choice at that point. Medium will work better if you optimize the video really well, and we don't have time to show you the complete optimization strategy. And Nancy does most of that for me. Thank you so much to my lovely wife, Nancy, for lending a hand, because it is a fair amount of work. So I hope that answers all of your questions. We have time to get to the rest. So let's go to number 2. So number 2 is, and I want to get these in order. I have them written somewhere. What did I do with it? Here? No. Here? Yeah. Okay, so here's the kicker. Each video needs to be average 10 minutes. Some of you just started freaking out. I totally get that. Some people think 10 minutes is too much, like I could never make a 10-minute video. And some people think that 10 minutes is too little. I personally think 10 minutes is nothing, especially when you're talking about a very specific topic like how to play jazz piano, something that took me my entire life. I've been playing the piano since I was basically 8 years old. So we're talking about the better part of 40 years. Sorry, 50 years. 40 years would be nice, but hey, 50 years. So, you've been doing something for 50 years. You've got some answers that people need, and especially if you're a professional. So 10 minutes for me, I mean, I could give somebody a 10-minute lesson and they could work on that one lesson for months and never really get to the bottom of how to be an excellent jazz piano player. So to me, 10 minutes is nothing. So I basically ream off playlists sometimes in a single day. I'll sit down at the piano. I'll launch all 4 cameras and audio equipment, and I'll record five videos on one topic, each of them obviously lead topics. And I'll do that in a few hours, fire all that over time to the editor who's been trained on how to deal with that. And he puts it all together, sends it back, and I basically fix up a couple of mistakes, and boom, away we go. So 10 minutes is nothing. Here's the reason why you want to do this. The channels that get the most views are channels that provide ample, detailed, granular content that people are wanting to watch. And do you remember from the channel? I mean, we were talking about, I can't remember what it was. How many hours of viewed time? Was it 547 or something like that? I mean, if you put 1-minute shorts, which is also a strategy, your channel's not going to get that much watch time. And the more watch time you have, the better the algo works. All of this is about hacking the YouTube algo. So this means that if you make your video 10 minutes, there's a couple of things that happen. First of all, in that time, YouTube can run 2 ads, which means more ad revenue for YouTube. But it also, when you reach 1,000 subscribers, 51% of that ad revenue comes to you. Now, we're not talking about huge dollars at 1,000 subscribers, but when you get to 10,000 or 100,000 or even 1 million, which is essentially the plan, then it's going to start to add up because it's just going to multiply. So it's enough time for YouTube to run 2 ads during that video, which is good for them. The other thing is, like I mentioned, it's an opportunity for people to actually learn something in detail and understand it. There's one thing about telling people how to do something. There's another thing entirely about them understanding what you're doing and to be able to duplicate that and do it for themselves. And sometimes that takes them watching the video 3-4 times. So 10 minutes is what you want. Don't put out 2-minute. Now, wait a second. You can put out 2-minute videos and you can put out 20-minute videos. I'm saying the average length of those videos should be 10. So here's what I do. I set my timer at 11 minutes. When that timer gets down, if I've made a few mistakes, I allow for that. And I just keep recording because that can all be edited in post. Essentially, the vast majority of my videos end up between 10 and 12 minutes. So let's take a look and let's see if that actually holds true. Let's take a look at the channel. So here we have your videos. And we're only looking at the ones that are actually posted because some are not actually, like this one is unlisted and there's a bunch of reasons for that. But so this one here is 12 minutes, 15 seconds, 12 minutes, 22, 9:57, 11:43, 12, 9:25, 10:55, 10:38, 11:17. There's a YouTube short, 59 seconds. Every YouTube short should be less than 60 seconds. 9:28, 12:34, 11:50. So you get the idea. So I'm following my own rules. Can everyone see that? Like I'm not telling you to do one thing and I'm doing something different. I'm posting videos that are average 10 to 12 minutes in length. Any questions about that?
There is a couple questions that I might as well ask right now, if you're okay with that, Paul.
Go ahead.
Chris Badge has asked, if your channel isn't monetized, do your videos get less views?
No. The channel, Chris, will be monetized at 1,000 subscribers, but you have to have at least 4,000 watch hours in the last 12 months. So if you're at 1,000 subscribers and you don't reach and maintain 4,000 watch hours, which is really important to make 10 to 12 minute videos, right? So you got to have 4,000 watch hours in the last 12 months. If you fall below that in any 12-month period, like I'm monetized now, if I fall below 4,000 in 12 months, in the next 12 months, I will no longer be monetized. So the answer to your question is, as soon as I reached 1,000, did I start to get more views? Did my video start to do better? And the answer is no, it didn't. What happened was, it just is this steady curve. Sorry, I should do it on the screen the right way. I have to do it backwards here. So there's this slow curve. Sorry, how do I do this? This way. No, that way. There you go. You're going up this way. There's this slow curve that doesn't end when you get to 1,000. It doesn't automatically go skyrocketing. It just kind of keeps going on that steady curve. So I hope that answers your question.
I think it does. Chris also had a question about they never monetize the channel they have. Is that a mistake? Should they monetize their channel right away for getting more views, or should they wait?
You should monetize it right away. Definitely. So as soon as you reach 1,000 and you get 4,000 subscribers, you have to apply to get monetized. As soon as you apply, it usually takes a couple of days to get that, and you should do it right away, because I do believe there is something in the algorithm that can help your channel. I just haven't seen a huge amount of evidence that says as soon as you're monetized, it's going to explode. It's not really the way it works. You still have to keep posting videos. You shouldn't go and sit down and have a rest after you're monetized. You should keep going. I also see a question here. It says, I don't understand what a short is. A YouTube short is basically this: anything that is less than 60 seconds. And it is a screen resolution of 1080 by 1920. In other words, it is a mobile view. Instead of 1920 by 1080, it's 1080 wide by 1920 high, and it's less than 60 seconds. And it has the keyword or the hashtag shorts in the title of the video or in the description. And then it becomes a YouTube short automatically. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, if I just may interrupt Paul just for that. Remember, everyone, YouTube changes their stuff every single day. And a lot of the stuff we don't know about. What Paul is talking about for algorithm is stuff that he's known, practiced years over year over year. It's not just, you can't just suddenly one day get 1 million views because the YouTube algorithm decides to like your channel.
Yeah, sort of, except I've only been practicing since April. So
okay.
not year over year. This is just a results from starting from 0 to 1,200 subscribers in basically since April. So yeah. Question from Cynthia: would a short have the same topic as one of your longer videos? Absolutely. You still want to do the optimization strategies. You still want to do lead topics. The only thing is you've only got 59 seconds to actually get your word out. Okay, let's keep going. By the way, thank you all for the questions. I love them. Keep them coming. Number 3. Here's the kicker. So your videos should have a minimum, so greater than, greater than 50% view rate, which means that they need to get, if your video is 10 minutes, they have to watch at least 5 of it. If your video is 12 minutes, they have to watch at least 6 minutes of it. If that happens, if you start to get an average view rate of 50%, the YouTube algo kicks in and your videos start to do better everywhere. They start to do better in YouTube suggested videos. They start to do better in YouTube homepage suggestions. They start to do better in search. There's a whole bunch of reasons why you want to get people to watch at least half your video. So this is, and I help other companies with this now. Putting a video together that people are going to watch for at least 5 minutes is not the easiest thing to do, but there is some shortcuts that you should use. Now, let me give you one example. There's something called content hooks, and I'm going to give you one right now. So here's an example of a content hook. When I get to number 5 in my list, because there's 5 things that you absolutely want to know and learn about running a successful YouTube channel and getting monetized and finding a new audience that absolutely loves your stuff. The whole secret to this formula is in the next two things that I'm going to share with you. Number 4 and number 5. By the time you finish this session, you'll know everything you'll need to know to get started on YouTube. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Facebook or whatever, but you really want to stick around to the end because I'm going to show you something that's going to rock your world. What is that I just did? It's called a content hook. If you start your video, and I did that, Cynthia, right at the beginning of our session, because I've learned on YouTube that that's what you do. In the beginning of every single one of my videos, I use this phrase almost religiously, or phrases like this. By the time you finish this video, you will know how to properly voice 1-6-2-5 piano progressions in 3 different keys, F, B flat, and E flat, which are the flat keys. And then in our next video, I'm going to do sharp keys. I haven't made that yet, but you can stick around for that and find a link at the end or whatever. But trust me, I'm going to launch right now. But by the time you finish this video, you're going to know exactly how to do this thing. That's called a content hook. If you do something like this, in this video, you're going to learn 3 strategies for making pasta in 5 minutes or less. And those 3 things are: you need fast cooking pasta, you need a can of tomato sauce, and you need these 2 spices, oregano and thyme. Who the heck is going to watch the video after that? So never give away the answer in the first minute. And I've seen people on YouTube do this over and over again. They launch in, they say, well, we're going to talk about 3 things today. We're going to talk about this, this, and this. And then people go, oh, I already know those things, or thank you so much for the answer, I'm out of here. So what you want to do is throughout the video, in the beginning especially, you want to give them content hooks so that they actually stick around. That one right there is gold. That's going to help your view rate significantly. And by the way, no fluff. Don't back off, start telling stories about that have nothing to do with the topic. Don't be funny where you can't be funny. Just give them the information that they're looking for, because that's what the search term is that they searched for. Are there any questions about number 3? That's a really, really important one. And now I'm down to the last 2.
I don't see any questions at this time, Paul, but keep going
Okay,
ahead.
good.
If there's any other questions, we'll hopefully still have time at the end for any other questions.
Okay. I appreciate it. I do know there's a pretty good audience here. So don't be shy, by the way, people. If you just want to come on and say hi in the chat area and say, hey, this is really interesting and I've really never thought about it before, that would be awesome. Any feedback is good feedback. And I noticed that it's kind of the same people that are asking questions, and that's really cool. I just like to hear from everyone. Great. Question: is an example of a hook giving away a freebie at the end of a video? Yeah, that's actually good. It's like, and I do that all the time. I could actually play it for you if I had time, but in the beginning, when I'm talking about sheet music, and I do that a lot, it's like I've actually got sheet music and a backing track that you can download. Stick around to the end and I'm going to share that link with you, which is really awesome. Especially when you're monetized, by the way, because you can't share links to your website in a video unless you have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours of time. You can only post links below in the description area, which is an extra step for people. If you can post them right in the video, that works really well. So I do that a lot. It's like, hey, stick around to the end because I'm going to share the actual link to download the backing track, bass and drums, and you can play along with it, along with the sheet music that I've made especially for this. And that's the way to approach it. Hey, Terry, nice to see you, by the way. I haven't seen you in a while. Terry Allison, content hooks is gold. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Okay. Number 4, hypnotic. I love this word. Thumbnails. What is a hypnotic thumbnail? So when people do searches on YouTube, by the way, and let's do one. Let's go find a chop. So Mo Better Blues piano tutorial. Let's do a quick search. Mo Better Blues. I hope I show up in search because some work, some don't. Piano tutorial. There we go. So let's take a look at the video. So, because I don't rank number one, there's 2 ads here, Simply Piano, Learn Blues. That happens a lot on YouTube. People have to get through that. Then they have to get through this really creepy looking guy. Sorry for, I don't know who the guy is, but basically this guy here. I don't even know what that looks like. And he's got funny keys that do really weird things. And then there's a piece of sheet music. And then there's me that says, Mo Better Jazz Piano. So essentially, a hypnotic video is something that grabs somebody's attention, hooks their mind, and makes them click on it. And the real key to that is a couple of things. One, I think you need to be in the video as the content expert. Number 2, it has to be situational. You can see I'm kind of sitting here at the piano with some headphones, looking like I'm enjoying jazz piano. And there's also a headline, which is different than the actual keyword phrase. So this is the keyword phrase over here, which is Mo Better Blues Piano Tutorial. Sorry for the ad. Mo Better Blues Piano Tutorial is the keyword phrase, but the thumbnail is the thing that people actually see. So it's like, hey, Mo Better Jazz Piano. I want to play more better jazz piano. It has to be hypnotic in nature. Why? Because click-through rate is the key to getting your videos overall ranked better. So if we look at our, let's go to analytics. Is that just for this video? Sorry, let's go back to the channel and let's do all analytics. And let's look at something called click-through rate, which is, where is it? Here, right there. 6.2%. That means that 6.2% of all of my videos are being clicked on when showing up in YouTube search. If that number, by the way, dips below 4 or below 3 or below 2, you're screwed. Because YouTube doesn't see that as people wanting to click on your stuff. YouTube loves it when videos get clicked on. 6.2% average, and you can see that there's some that are 10.4%, which is really great. That's typically because it shows up number 1. And let's do that. Let's do, what's the difference between jazz and blues? A question that we got from VidIQ. We're number 1, and we get 10% of all click-throughs, which is really, really cool. So that's really important to understand, that if your thumbnail doesn't stand out against the rest, I mean, look, the second one doesn't have any words. The third one is just a couple of other guys, and most of these. So, if I looked at this, it's like, okay, left side is the jazz guy with, the glasses, and the right side is the blues guy with the dark glasses, different shirts, whatever, kind of looking at each other. To me, that's somewhat hypnotic. How many of you agree with what I'm saying? It's like your video has to stand out. And that's what hypnotic means, because if the thumbnail doesn't stand out, then you're screwed. Nobody's going to click on it. And if they don't click on it, it falls down the list. It'll just keep falling until it's like past number 10 or past number 12, and then you'll get nothing. And when you get nothing, your click-through rate is 0. That video will never do well. So the thumbnail is the key to getting a high click-through rate. Are there any questions about number 5?
There is a question from Zane, who asks, sorry, Ruben, who asks, is there a limit to number of words you use on your thumbnail?
Absolutely. There is a limit. I'm not going to give it specifically as a number, but I'm going to say if you can limit it to 5 or less, that would be great. If you have to have more than 5 in order to explain it, make sure the words are big enough to read from a distance, because people are using their cell phones, they're scrolling through, and if they can't read it, it's not going to be any good. But I would say 5 words or less would be probably the sweet spot. If you can do it in 2 words or 3, like jazz versus blues, to me, that's very hypnotic. It does tell a story. Less is more in this question. So thank you for the question. Kurt says, my core content is getting good click-throughs. You're still making me feel better. Good. So Kurt, maybe you could share with me exactly where you're at, and I can give you an exact suggestion as to how to maybe what to do right now in order to get to your goal. So tell me where you're at and then tell me what your goal is, and then I'll see if I can answer that question. Okay, so number 4 is hypnotic thumbnails. We have arrived, ladies and gentlemen, at number 5. And I'm really, really sorry to share this with you, but this one is so important. Let's go super important. Let's go extra super important. If you're not doing this, then you're really doing yourself a disservice, because this is what really, really counts. Yes, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 4 are really important, but this one is kind of like the kicker. Are you ready? And you're not going to like it. You're just not going to like it, because it's work. And when there's work involved, that's when the people who are willing to do the work step up, and most people won't. So here, and this is really important, because if you do it, you'll probably be the only one in your niche market. And by the way, the tighter the niche, the more you'll get rich. You'll be the only one in that niche category that does this, because most of them are not. In fact, none of my competitors for advanced jazz are doing this. And that's why when you step up to the plate and you do number 5, you're going to be better than 100% of all the other people that are in your category. Kurt, I'm going to get to your stuff in a minute. Let me give you the last one. So this is number 5. 5 videos a week for at least 1 year. And you're like, oh my God, that's, let's see, 52 weeks, 250 something videos. Thank you. I have 10 minutes left. I appreciate that. I'll be done, because that's number 5. It's like 5 videos a week for at least a year. Now, I've been doing this since April. Sometimes it's 4, and I apologize for those missed weeks. Did it hurt the algorithm? No. But consistency is absolutely key. In your YouTube analytics, as it starts to give you feedback on how you're doing on your channel, it'll also tell you what are the best times to post on your channel. So not exactly. So views in the last 48 hours, the reach, engagement. Maybe Nancy, you could come tell me where this one is. Oh, here, there it is. When are your viewers on YouTube? So you can see the darker the line, that's when the most viewers are on. So you can see Friday, we don't get a lot of viewers. So if you posted your videos 5 days a week, your days would be Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and either Thursday or Tuesday. So you kind of have to pay attention to when people are actually consuming your content, and you should post the videos at that time on that specific day. The reason why you want to do 5 a week is because content is everything on YouTube, and you want to have enough content there that can be searched to give you an overall impact. Your videos should also rank well in order to help the overall impact, and your click-through rates must be high enough in order to keep that video on the map. Does every single one of my videos do well? No. Do some do exponentially better than others? Sure. Let's take a look at lifetime. And the one thing I did want to show you is, like, if you take a look at the overview for lifetime on subscribers, or sorry, this is views, you can see that way back, and we really started the channel in April. So let's see, March. So the channel was around, but we didn't start. So we started in April, and watch as the number just consistently continues to grow. 300, 200, 300, peaks, 200, 300. Now we're up to 370, 300. So we've kind of grown slowly over time, and we're looking at approximately 300 to 400 a day. The watch time is 7,000 hours total, so well over the 4,000 hours that you need. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing not to do before we go. And you should absolutely not do this thing that I'm about to share with you. So we did a test on 2 different channels. We built a brand new one called Jazzmental, which is this channel. And let me find somewhere to write. Let's do it up here in the corner. So I'm going to put a little content box up here. And I'm going to say, don't do this. So we launched 2 channels. One was Jazzmental, and the other one was Training Business Pros. We're going to call it TV Pros for short. That's my company channel. I've had that company channel for several years. It had 340 subscribers when I started in April. We posted the same amount of videos with all of these rules, not specifically in the beginning because we've learned some of these rules since we started, but we posted all of these rules on both channels, Jazzmental and Training Business Pros. Training Business Pros had 340 subscribers when I started. Jazzmental had 0. What happened was, right now, after 5 months of posting the same amount of content on both channels, which for me was, oh my God, talk about time consuming, talk about never knowing what you're in for. After 5 months, Training Business Pros had 341 subscribers and Jazzmental had 600 approximately. So it grew from 0 to 600. Training Business Pros grew from 340 to 341. What happened? The answer is that those 340 subscribers were not watching my new videos. Those were subscribers that happened over many years. They probably weren't interested in marketing anymore. They probably came on as members of, some training sessions that I had for public speaking or whatever. I don't know where they came from, but the reality is I started focusing on a channel that had subscribers, but those subscribers did not engage with the videos. And because they did not, it killed the channel. So don't take an already existing channel and subscribers and start to build from that point if you know that those subscribers are not going to engage with your videos, because that's one of the most important things. Your subscribers have to watch your videos. If they're not watching your videos, at least one a week or one a month or something, and they're not engaging with your videos, it will kill the algorithm and you will be dead in the water. We abandoned this project after 5 months, totally abandoned it after all that work. Now, what I do have is 5 months of content that I can download and start a brand new channel, which I intend to do, but haven't got around to it yet. So if you've got a channel that's been kind of languishing for years, start a new one. That's my highest recommendation. Thank you so much for your time, everyone.